Hello, my name is Christopher Leffelholtz, and this is the development group conversation for January 19th, 2022. As always, we start with what's top of mind for me. We have been very much focused on reliability and security through our stand-up related to incidents. And in particular, we're now focused on API limits, security issues with dependencies, some challenges that we've had with our dependencies, year-end escalation coverage so that we made sure we were covered over the holidays, and FCLs. We continue to have team members involved in engineering allocations for the quarter, and we're at 24 teams now on at least one or more activities above the 10% floor. We expect this to continue to start dropping over the next 3 months. We're focused on InfraDev works as well as our OKRs for Q4 and Q1. Retention and hiring continue to be an area of focus. We'll see some results of that hiring focus here in a couple slides. And also, we're focused on performance reviews and compensation, as this is the time of year when we have those conversations. And then lastly, we continue to focus on our data decomposition effort, and narrow MR rate is an area that we're going to really kick up here in the next month as we head into FY23, which involves both our planning and our growth. On the hiring front, we've expanded from 278 people to 290 people. So we've grown by 12 folks. That's pretty exciting. Roughly averaging 2 to 3 offer approvals a week. So we're hoping that in Q1, we can hit a target of 30 hires for the quarter. That's our committed goal from a financial perspective as well. So we're working on that. We have 5 interim managers who are working towards promotion. So that's encouraged to see as part of our career development within the organization. And we have a 3rd recruiter starting in January. So that'll hopefully help with our goal to hit our hiring activities. On the InfraDev burn down, we're sitting right now at about 6, though we've seen a few days of 5. In fact, I think today we actually got one off, so we're down to 5 right at this moment. So we're seeing some turnout there. What's even more encouraging is that we're closing more than we're opening, so we're pretty excited about that result. Security has stabilized since late December. Some of this is due to the holidays and people being off, and some of this is also due to the fact that we're continuing to burn down both past due as well as ones that are in place. So if you look at our charts, what you'll see is again, in the last 3 weeks, we've essentially, or last 2 weeks, I should say, we've closed more than we opened. So this is an encouraging trend that we eventually expect to see in our past due security issues. Development another development department KPI is LCP. Right now, we only have a few data points in January, or I should say 1 data point in this graph, a few more hopefully in the next few days. Essentially, we are below threshold most days, though we'll have to keep an eye on this to make sure that we're consistent about that. MR rate, we are down year over year. December was encouraging in regards to the fact it was closer to our October, November numbers. So even though we had more time off, the reality was that we actually got more done in the month of December than we normally would. We still have 14 engineers working on different areas than what they normally currently work on, so that can affect our availability. We've also seen a lot of COVID fatigue and world events affecting our performance, as well as Omicron outbreaks as well. While we are not directly affected by an outbreak, say at our office, we do have folks who are impacted either through daycare or other considerations. So we've started to see that happening. Our maintainers continues to be pretty stable here. It's gone up a little bit from a graph of engineers to per maintainer. I believe this is primarily due to our growth in the organization. So we haven't necessarily lost any maintainers, but we haven't gained any. So we'll have to kick that program off again or start that again to move forward. This is always a rough time of the year because we're coming off the holidays, and review time and open MRH both tend to spike in this month. Normally, I would expect it to see it going down. We did have a gap in our reporting since the 13th. So I think we need to just keep our eye on this for the next week and see if we start seeing these numbers come down to more their normal thresholds once the holiday the holiday break is kind of fully behind us. While the break is behind us, the reality is that reviews oftentimes will get delayed by a week to 2 weeks during this period of time, just because of that lag associated with those holidays. Q3 or Q4 OKRs are here. I have the scores listed associated with that. If you're curious about any of the details, go ahead. Please feel free to ask some questions during the discussion. We definitely have a few areas that we definitely want to try to improve on in the next couple of weeks, and some areas that we're going to get some learnings from associated with that. And then Q4 OKRs are, I'm sorry, Q1 OKRs are proposed. You can see them listed here if you're interested. One thing to know here is that a number of them are related to our top cross-functional initiatives. So I'll talk about that briefly. The development department has a lot of engagement in the top cross-functional initiatives. Some of these you'll see us monitor through OKRs. That doesn't mean that the other ones are not important. It means that we are doing them through the normal product engagement and product prioritization. So we anticipate for those product parts of the project, or I'm sorry, those particular initiatives that we can support those through that. And if not, we'll deal with escalations and potentially move those into OKRs as the particular quarter comes up where they're the most important. And there's a few in there, I believe, that we might also have some additional participation in as the year goes on. But right now, that's the visibility we have. The fulfillment subdepartment has many updates associated with it, in particular around just changes in the organization. Jerome now reports into me. He's also acting as the group PM, and we've seen the DRI for cloud licensing move to Omar as Justin's take on his role as Senior Director of Product Monetization. We're looking at several improvements in our project management process, in particular around intake, and make sure that we're keeping people informed through our weekly updates. And we've also kicked off a purchasing reliability group where we're working on improving both the infrastructure by moving from Azure to GCP, as well as looking at data integrity across all the parts of the system, because we oftentimes have inconsistencies with those. This department in particular was in need of hiring, and I'm happy to report that we've increased the team by 6 new team members in the last quarter and a half. We continue to have focus on the additional 4 roles that are open here and continue to plan to move forward with that. The growth models, ops, and sec teams through Wayne is focused on many areas. In particular, the ML team has started beta testing their machine learning for review recommendation. This is different than roulette. It's actually trying to recommend the right person based on some machine learning associated with that. So we're dogfooding that part of the product. And then the anti-abuse team has onboarded their second hire to continue to focus there. And we'll have additional updates for both growth and sec in the next update, which is coming in March. Enable this subdepartment continues to focus on database decomposition. This is definitely an area where we're excited to move into getting pieces in production. As I tell the team often, if it's not in production, it hasn't happened. So we're continuing to work on that. Phase 4 is what we're looking to bring on board to get us closer to having this in use. We also have added 2 more team members to that database group team, so that's exciting to see. And the other highlight I would like to make is we're projected to complete between 14.7 and 14.8, working on supporting Kubernetes 1.22 associated with that. Ops department highlights, the CIC data decay architectural blueprint is merged. That's exciting because that's a way for us to keep our database sizes from growing out too far. So we'll continue to focus on that. We've also rolled out the container registry so that 100% of the new repositories follow that. That they follow that new garbage collection for container registries. We're expecting this to save approximately 600 gigabytes of cloud storage per day, so we're pretty excited about that. The FIPS compliant runner, or the first iteration of that, is shipped in 14.7. You can see some videos and slides there associated with that. And then GitLab agent for Kubernetes installs grow. So we're seeing good adoption there associated with that project. And then last but not least, in monitor observability, we have made a purchase, as folks know, of OpsTrace. We're continuing to integrate that team within the organization. It's been about, I believe, about 6 weeks. We're working on making sure that they feel part of the teams and basically consolidating that team. And we have a number of positions open for that team that we're continuing to focus on for hiring. And if you're interested in any of those positions, please reach out to Nicholas Click because he is involved in that. That's the brief overview update of our slide deck for the development conversation. I now welcome questions from the team.